I'm not a neuroscientist by any means, but we look at the prefrontal cortex and the amygdala. The amygdala is part of your limbic system, and it's a very small part of the brain. It is a big job, and that job is the processing sensory emotion. So as we engage with our world, we are sensory beings. Our senses are alerting us to what is going on in the environment, and this activates areas of the brain, being the amygdala. Now, if a stimulus is perceived as non-threatening, then you'll have a certain response about that, an appropriate response. The problem is when the amygdala and prefrontal cortex, when they're working together, and the amygdala is suddenly perceiving something as highly threatening, whether it is a spider or whether it is an exam you're preparing for. That is when the prefrontal cortex fails to suppress the amygdala. So the amygdala wants to put it into that anxious state of fight or flight. And this is where the problem is. It's sending incorrect messages about how you perceive the environment. And that is the hard part, because anxious thoughts interfere with our daily functioning. It's the thought patterns that are coming in. So we need to teach ourselves as adults and children how to hover, almost. Teach that brain to hover before reacting. And you know what I may see something interesting, very different to the way my child sees. I'm not going to be able to talk those fears away from my child, especially when they are in that high level of anxious state.
Yeah.
We need to get our children into a state where they're regulated before we can even engage. But before I go to that, I'd just like to, for those parents out there that are saying, but how do I know if my child is anxious?
Yeah, how do you identify normal anxiety over the exam versus, hyper debilitating anxiety? And if you've got a call or a question that you'd love to ask Corin or Jen about your child and the issue that you're going with, please do give us a call. 011-888-0702. Send us a WhatsApp 072-702-1702. All questions will be much better than mine, I can assure you. But carry on, Corin.
Okay. All right. So on a psychological level, there are these uncontrollable obsessive thoughts that we have about a situation. And it is a future-oriented thought, if you think about it. This feeling is actually all about the future. And when you see our child, let's say a young child, and I can talk from personal experience as well, having 3 young children, they may be on edge or irritable. They may have tendency out of it. It could be clingy, fearful, crying, dropping at school. The teacher may report having difficulty concentrating. We often find with children that have quite a storm. There's a child at home and homeless activities. And one often when a child is asking to have a bathroom break, during math. There could be a lot of math anxiety. And the child will avoid those lessons by asking often to go to the bathroom. And you also may notice changes in your child's sleeping and eating habits. And those are symptoms. So it can be temporary states. It can be anxiety related to something that a child may feel not and have very sore backs and shoulders. So those are also physical symptoms that you may find in your child. And this is of all ages. We often say, well, I'm going to head into physical symptoms. When we actually think about it, what is that? What is it that why should we not feel it? As the same as happiness, sadness, jealousy, anger. These are certain negative emotions people think we're not allowed to feel. We absolutely should be welcoming anxiety in. And as soon as you as a parent, as a teacher, can accept that anxiety is normal, you can teach children that it's normal to feel a little bit anxious and that you welcome it in. You don't want to not ever have anxiety, right? That's the unrealistic. You need it, it helps us when you're crossing the road. You need to have that alertness about you. And when you are, it's going to stop you from getting out of the vehicle in the Kruger Park, for instance.
Yeah.
There's a protective factor. So we have to change that judgment. And one of the ways we talk about is changing the relationship to that emotion, welcoming it in, allow your child to feel worried, and really starting to look at it as something that is controllable. As soon as it is controllable, you feel empowered, you feel that you've got the ability to deal with it. But it's so interesting. I know people with my husband were talking about this recently, having an anxious child. We differ on this topic. It would be interesting to hear from some of the listeners. But a lot of people believe that if you make your child too aware of their anxiety, some people believe then you're going to make it worse. Okay, but actually the opposite is true. If you make your child aware, you're actually going to give them more control. So in the instance like whether there's anxiety about change, coming to a new classroom, or having a new teacher, there's a lot of new school, absolutely. If you actually make your child, your youngest child, aware of how they are feeling, why are they feeling these feelings, and what is it making in their mind, how they're acting, what is it making them do? If you actually make them aware of it, they actually believe they can cope through it, and that will give them more control. So that is something quite important to really remember.
So we're talking to Karen Archer. She's on the line talking to us about anxiety in children. If you have an issue with a child of yours that may suffer from anxiety, do give us a call or send us a WhatsApp and you can ask your question to Karen. Salome, I see your question. We'll come to that shortly. But first, let's do this.
Africa Milani.
Weekday mornings,
4 to 6.
Tens of thousands applying for registration of their spaza shops and food handling businesses across the country to meet the deadline of the 28th of February. I imagine there are scores still not registered. Have you been pleased with the process so far?
We're not happy with the process. We feel that it should have been phased registration, not a whole at once. We would have had a better turnover of applications being approved.
Sibusiso Ngcobo is the Deputy Secretary of the South African Spaza and Tuck Shop Association.
Africa Milani. 4 to 6 on 702.
Man, I'm looking so forward to this.